Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome back to my shop. Today we're going to do a little behind the scenes look at how the seats are scooped for the chair kits. So a lot of people had a question about this, how this is produced at the scale that we're producing here. And a lot of people assume this is done on a CNC router with like a ball nose bit, and each seat is carved individually. And I think that'd be okay if you're only doing like a dozen seats, but if you're doing several hundred or several thousand seats, that would be a little too slow. So this is actually done on a dedicated machine that only scoops seats. That's all it does, and we're gonna take a look at that today. So a lot of the shops that I work with to produce the chair kits, they don't allow any filming in the facility at all. This shop that has the scooper machine agreed to allow me to film the machine working as long as I had none of the employees on camera at any time. So I went, we scooped some seats, and I tried to get some shots without anybody in the frame, which was a little more difficult because it's an active shop, but I think I got enough footage to kind of explain the whole machine and the process, so let's jump into it. Here's a quick walk around look at the overall machine. It looks kind of like a jointer with large in-feed and out-feed tables, but it's actually a planer with a moving cutter head. It's a McKnight saddle seat machine, and I'm not sure exactly the manufacture date, but it's most likely early 1900s, making it around 100 years old. So before we get into the details of the machine, here's a quick look at it actually running. So the boards are going to be fed through the machine, and the cutter head is going to come up and down following the cam down there on the bottom. The seat blanks are fed through on a chain mechanism, and then as they go through, that cutter head comes up and down, makes that scoop pass, and in one pass, the full scoop profile is done on that seat blank. So let's take a look under the hood first. And this is the cutter head. There's two really thick knives. They look to be around 3/8 of an inch thick, so they're pretty darn meaty. The profile for the scoop has the straight section for the sitter's thighs and the curved section, for the butt. And then jumping down to the bottom, here's a look at the cam, and there is another cam mechanism on the back side of the machine. This cam is set up so that the cut will come up in the middle to create the pommel between the two thigh scoops. The shape of the knives paired with these cams allows the machine to create a variety of different scooping shapes. The machine holds the boards down as they go through. On the in-feed side is a row of fingers, and the out-feed side has more of a hold-down plate. These are set to be really close to the top of the board with the knobs on top, and you don't want the seat blanks to chatter or bounce while they're going through the machine, otherwise they'll probably explode. The feed chain has dogs that can be placed anywhere along it to have the scoop end up exactly where it needs to be in the seat blank. The chain and cam are linked via the gearbox on the far right of the machine. In this shot, you can see how many seats we were running that day, around 160. These seats came in from the panel shop that day as 2 seats per glued up panel. They needed to be ripped to width and cross-cut into seat blanks. Using the shop's sliding panel saw took a bit over an hour and a half to turn those 80 panels into 160 seat blanks, and then the scooping process itself took about 40 minutes. The machine was scooping a seat roughly every 10 seconds. Which is probably one of the more surprising things, is that the actual scooping process is one of the fastest processes in the production of a chair seat. So that's the process of creating the actual scoop profile on here. As far as the blank goes, from there it'll go to a CNC, and the outside shape will be cut, most importantly with this radius up here, because that's going to match the radius that is cut into the lower rail of the chair, so that rail and the seat nest together nice and perfectly. But that is the overall process of scooping a seat with a McKnight saddle scoop machine thingamabobber. So as far as I know, and a little bit of research I've done, these machines are no longer produced, and it looks like they were produced through like the 1960s. Over on vintagemachinery.org, you can find a catalog book from like the 1960s from McKnight, and one of the first machines in there is this saddle scoop machine. So it's kind of cool to actually see the original catalog and seeing all that. Because this was such a specialized machine to begin with, and because they've been out of production for so long, they are very hard to find, and it is even more difficult to find ones that are actually in like complete and running shape. So it was really cool to be able to see one that is fully there, fully running, and still going like 100 years later. How many seats has the thing scooped in its long, long life? It's pretty wild and crazy to think about. So that's going to do it for this one. It's a quick little look at the scooping process of the chair seats. This is probably one of the more interesting and unique things as far as the chair kit production goes that I really wanted to have the opportunity to finally share with you guys. So hopefully I'll be able to do a few more of these in the future, showing a little more of the behind the scenes processes as I can make arrangements for that. But at least to me, this is the most, like, I would have never thought this would be the fastest way to do this. Or that a thing to do this as fast as it does actually exists. So if you want to take a look at the chair kits, I'll leave you a link down in the description. You can take a look at those if you're looking for some chairs for a table you made, or to put some butts in somewhere and you want to make your own, sort of. I have kits for that. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the scooper, the chair kits, anything here in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking. Go scoop some seats. Get your butt scooped.